Alrighty. So first off, a few requests that I have. If anyone has any knowledge or ideas or thoughts in no particular order. First one being feedback. I'm a big fan of feedback. And so if you have any, I know that there are certainly ways that I could improve the recording. I could take more time beforehand to plan out what I'm going to say instead of mostly I'm going pretty stream of consciousness with general outline. So I could be taking more time for that, and I could certainly also be editing. I don't think that I'm going to be doing that, as I don't see myself doing much more of these, and it's not something that I feel drawn to giving lots of energy to. If someone else wants to, that's certainly available. But any other sorts of feedbacks, or even that feedback, even let me know, like maybe this lack of editing and lack of pre-planning what I'm going to say makes it so difficult that unable to really get much value from these. Well, then that's not serving my intentions, so I can adjust that, no doubt. Also, ways that I communicate. Do I come off as positive and happy and supportive and considerate? Do I come off as condescending and rude and making fun of people? Do I come off as ignorant? Does it sound like I'm making stuff up or anything like that? Yeah, if you know anything about Kaya Kalpa, or you know anyone who may know anything about Kaya Kalpa, please do reach out. My email is in the info on this channel, or you can post a message or whatever they're called, a comment. But yeah, I would really love to connect with people who have experience with Kaya Kalpa. I just find it fascinating. It's not a top priority. The meditation, the personality change is the top priority, but this thing is so rare that I'll put it out there. Also, with darkness in general, if you've got experience or you know people who have experience with extended time in darkness, I'm just a beginner. I'm just putting it together. I would love to connect with some lineages or some people who have bigger picture, because I know for sure there are ways I could be refining it, that I could be getting more benefit from my practices. And it does seem likely that darkness will continue to be a part in my practice. Other esoteric practices, I just find those interesting. So tapas or other esoteric things, I'm curious. Similarly, with conscious communities, or I haven't found a good term, but places where people are living in alternative ways to the norm of being in cities and working 9 to 5. No judgment again, it's just not where I'm at currently. And so I'm interested in connecting with other people who are living in these ways of closer to nature, learning and growing together, authentic, transparent, spiritual practices or non-physical practices. So yeah, anything like that, whether they're centers or places where people are living, love to hear. Any suggestions or ideas about the toenail fungus and clearing that up? It's not a big thing, but I assume it doesn't seem, it's probably a very small health impact, but it doesn't seem like, if it seems like it may be the result of some deeper health issue or something to allow that to occur. I don't know. This is one for life in general, and certainly for coming out of a place like this. If you've got any suggestions with how to lock the phone to limit certain things, whether it's pornography or just using, you know, the little escape mechanisms and stuff, whether it's scrolling or stuff like that. It's not a, hey Bubba, it's not a real big thing for me right now, but that's just right now. There's certainly been times in the past where it doesn't feel like it's that big, and then the perfect storm of different past, being in an environment where there were past habits built combined with feeling stress and things like that, and subsequently, yeah, like just to share from my own experience, after the first extended dark room, like I said, I had 4 some months around India. It's really positive. I would say probably the most positive period of my adult life, as far as just enjoying and flowing with the people, and really very few, if any, unhealthy habit patterns. And then I went back to the US, and I was in spaces where I grew up that had this historical patterns and baggage, and I put myself in intense situations for extended amount of time with family and friends because I wanted to work, you know, to like improve relationships or things like that, but I just wasn't at the place to be able to do it fully positive for the amount of time that I chose to do it. And subsequently, maybe due to that and due to who knows what else, but then the next like 6 months were really challenging, and these old habit patterns coming up of escapist stuff that I hadn't been involved with for over, you know, near 2 years, and depression coming in really strong, and negativity. And thankfully, due to the practices and due to the work that I have been doing, I was able to be with it without feeling like I would have in the past of, oh, this is hopeless, I can't believe this, I'm doomed, and all that. I was able to be with it and be like, yeah, this is not ideal. Wow, okay, this is insightful that I've still have these patterns coming up after this work. That's insightful, and I'm not feeling great about this right now, but I'm also not really taking it super personal of I'm doomed forever. So that was positive, but it was still unexpected how challenging that next period was. And part of that is definitely the phone. The phone just brings in so many potential challenges. Even if it's just interacting with so many people, that I get burnt out. And that's the main reason that I chose to delete WhatsApp and change my number when I came to India, because I counted 2 different times over the previous year. I was talking to over 240 some people just through messages, and not including calls or groups or things like that. And almost all of those were positive interactions, but a large amount of them were me sharing with other people, in some way supporting. And I'm very grateful to be at that place, because that's not where I was a handful of years ago. It was much less positive, and it was much less having that capacity. But it was unbalanced. I'm not at the place where I can do that and also maintain my own self-care and things. And so I was getting burnt out and putting myself, I was overextending myself. So the phone lock, and also simple phones, like a non-computer phone. If y'all have suggestions on that, I've been going in that direction. I've been going in that direction for years, but I've been feeling the anxiety of going all in on it and letting go of the phone, the computer phone. So if you've got any suggestions on how to go about that, whether it's, just check this phone at once a week and use just a regular little Nokia or anything like that, I'm definitely interested to hear how other people have gone about that. Metta practice, like a loving kindness practice, or similar sorts of practices of feeling love for oneself and for others, I'm open to hear. I'd love to hear it. That's love. That's a big focus in my life these days. Oh, yeah, earbuds, corded and Bluetooth earbuds. these are obviously the AirPods, and they're pretty good. Some things about them are really cool, but I feel like the quality is really not that great. And I've been using them since they came out, different versions. I could try out some other ones, so if you've got any suggestions. And similar with corded, I used to have some really solid functioning Sennheisers, and I gave them away. And subsequently, I've gotten multiple different Sennheisers and never found ones that work nearly that well, and try other ones and don't have any. And I like to have corded sometimes for sure. So if you've got any suggestions on those, please do share. Other meditations, right now, like I said, I'm giving full shrift to TWIM, at least until August, when the year will be complete, and I'll be reviewing my results. But if there are others, I'm open. I'm not, my intention is personality change, and it's not about being tied to something. So right now it feels like I'll probably continue with TWIM, because so far it feels like the results have been quite positive, and even beyond those expectations. But others I'm open to, so please do share. Retreat centers, meditation retreats, countries even, I'm open. I'll share an apology. First of all, I apologize to you if anything that I have done or said or in any way communicated during any of these videos have come off as negative or condescending or rude or in any way not less than positive. It's not been my intention. I apologize for that. And if you want to share any feedback on that, I'm definitely open. And I apologize to family. Family, I love you. And I know that over these 39 years, there have been thousands of times, even recently, where I've acted in ways and treated you in ways that have come off as harmful and negative and unsupportive and hurtful and painful, and I apologize for that. It's not been my intention, but that's been where I've been at. I am trying my best. It is my intention to only be positive and supportive and loving, but sometimes I'm just not there, and I don't even realize what I'm doing a lot of the time. A lot of the time I think I'm doing one thing, and then I find out later it came off very differently. And then sometimes I'm back in those old patterns where I'm feeling this defensiveness or fear or anxiety, and so it's like I just respond and I do hurtful things or I say hurtful things. So I'm going to continue trying my best and continue doing these practices and experiences to help purify those patterns. But I apologize for the past and for any time in the future. And similarly for friends, it's very much the same for friends and for past current partner, ladies that have so graciously chosen to share their time, their energy, themselves, their mind, their body, their spirit with me on this journey. I know that I have done things that have hurt every one of you in some way or another. And I really apologize for that. I do really respect and honor what you have given to me just by our time together. And I'm very sorry that I haven't been at the place where I could be the person that just impacts you positively and just supports you and empowers you on your journey, and doesn't come in part due to from a place of immaturity and insecurity and craving and using and abusing in some way or other. I'm really sorry, and thank you. I love you. Namaste. Yeah, and anyone else, I mean, the innumerable people that I've interacted over life, and even right now as I walk down the street, and if I'm not fully on point or whatever, interacting in a negative way or in a rude way or condescending way, I apologize. Thank you. I really want to, well, actually, before I go into that, I will share, I meant to share this earlier, it doesn't really fit in here, but I intentionally didn't share how many days I did in these longer dark retreats, because I felt that can bring in an unnecessary, just kind of part of that consumption or competitive spirituality or something like that. I did what felt appropriate to me, and I don't want it to come off like, oh, well, I want to do more or something like that. So that's why I didn't say how many days. And I shared Ashwini Dhamma and Sasya Sanjivini as locations, but I'm not sharing any of the other dark retreat locations that I'm aware of around the world, just because they're not so difficult to find with a little bit of time and effort. And this being something that is a very powerful thing, and that can also fall in easily to the just like, let me click, let me make a reservation, let me throw some money, let me go there, without really taking the time to check in, is this appropriate, doing a little research and whatnot. Just giving a little time to researching, I think it will be beneficial for whomever is interested in doing so. That's why I'm choosing not to share the different locations. But if you have any questions, or you're seriously interested in going deeper, my email is there. I'm open, and I will be open to having phone conversations or things like that. And finally, much gratitude and appreciation to Siddhartha Gautama, the Buddha, for all of the unknown, immeasurable amount of energy and effort and challenge that he went through to get to a place to where he rediscovered these practices and these laws of nature, and then to share them openly in a way that can be passed down for thousands of years so that I can benefit from them. Much appreciation, much gratitude. Thank you very much. And to the Sangha, to the monks and the nuns and the practitioners who have dedicated themselves to these practices and passing them down for thousands of years through wars and famines and challenges and just not being easy. Thank you very much. I have really benefited, and I really appreciate that. Thank you very much to Bhante Vimalaramsi for dedicating over 20 years of your life to meditation, and then being honest with yourself that when you are doing the practice you are doing, it doesn't seem to be bringing you the results. And instead of just closing the mind and saying, no, I'm not going to acknowledge that, saying, well, then I'm going to adjust, and having that humility to say, I have dedicated 20 plus years of my life to this, and it doesn't seem to be bringing me the results. And so I'm going to go back to square one and reading the suttas, rediscovering these practices, sharing them openly, assisting in creating Dhammasukha and TWIM so that it could come to me. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Delson Armstrong, for being so open with your practice and speaking on the podcast so that I could hear it. Thank you very much. Helping me to come to TWIM, and also helping me in all the retreats with your guidance, your assistance. Same with Bhante Ananda, all of your assistance, the hours that you have dedicated to talking with me, though you are busy and have your own things going on, and sharing your truth on YouTube and at the retreats. Very, very grateful. Venerable Mettananda, thank you very much. I didn't mention Venerable Mettananda he's an American man in his late 20s, and he comes from Yale. He's a Yale graduate, and he discovered similarly that he was looking for some personality change, so he began going about it in a similar sort of life hacker way. He created a podcast. Name is the Fit Mind podcast. I'll put a link there. And he also created an app, the Fit Mind app, about meditation and things. Then he came to TWIM, and he has been dedicating his time and energy and focus to it since, and subsequently chose to take a temporary ordination now for the past several years as a monk, as a novice monk, and focus on this meditation. And the TWIM, or the FitMind app, has TWIM in there, so if you want to practice with an app, that's available. It costs, I think, like $30 a year, but if you just send them an email, they'll give it to you for free. And great friend and supporter and assistant on my journey, so thank you very much, brother, for how you're dedicating your life to this in a humble and authentic way. And my friend Trung, another instructor at TWIM, another person who has dedicated lots of time and energy to me while I was in this retreat, and before and after, as a friend and as a teacher and as a supporter. All four of those, Delson, Bhante Ananda, Venerable Mettadanda, and Trung, assisted me greatly in this last retreat. My results wouldn't have been nearly what they were. The life change wouldn't be nearly what it was without having access to your support, and I really am very grateful for that. Goenkaji, thank you very much for sharing in your way your truth and creating Goenka Vipassana and creating an organization that can share the Dhamma and that practice for free around the world, introducing me for the first time to the Dhamma. Much appreciation to you and to all the teachers and to everyone who assists that organization in sharing the Dhamma with others. To Mother India, Big Mother India, incredible place for whatever reason, the history and the wisdom and the practices and the depth that is here. Thank you so much for everything that you have shared with me. I initially came here very much saying I will not do any sort of spirituality or any sort of spiritual practices. That's a trope, that's a cliche. I'll only do some volunteering and I'll leave. And thankfully, that wasn't your intention. And very soon I said, okay, I can let go of that limiting story. There's no need to continue that, and open myself up to the wonders that you have, and to all of the Indian people who have been so supportive in your ways, in your unique Indian ways, supporting me and so many other people on the spiritual journey. It's really assisted me having access to a place like this. Dr. Kadle, thank you for your focus on these practices and on serving other people to create Ashwini Dhamma and to dive into Kaya Kalpa, even though it costs time and energy and money that you don't get back from the financial sense. Really grateful for that, and for dedicating so much time and energy to me and allowing me to pay whatever I can and supporting me, the whole staff at Ashwini Dhamma, and especially Vignesh and Raghu, who have served me and assisted me these last two times. Mahesh and Dr. Sonu, who have assisted me so very much. Yeah, lots of appreciation to y'all. Much love to you. Of course, my parents, mother and father, everything that you have dedicated and given to me over these 39 years, and continuing, trying your very best in your ways and attempting to give me as much love as possible, as much support and assistance. Thank you for that. I love you. My siblings, my extended family, thank you for all the support and love that you have given in your way. My friends, my close friends, my friends, several of them whom I won't name, but that have been so supportive, and partners so supportive during these times as I'm doing things that could seem so bizarre. You're gonna go into a room for months, not gonna talk to anyone, it's dark, you're gonna do these drugs, or gonna step away from making six figures, and you're gonna go volunteer somewhere with thank you so much for your support and your gracious acceptance of me as I go about things in a very imperfect way, acting in ways that sometimes harm you or sometimes come off as rude or condescending or whatever, and you being gracious and accepting me and not taking it personally and recognizing that it's not personal, it's not about you. Really much proud appreciation for y'all. You are really like the force multipliers. You really assist me in going above and beyond what I can do by myself. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. The general allies, people may not be close friends, but you're people who share positivity in one way or another with me and support. It makes a real difference for me. Makes a real difference for me. To myself, for whatever reasons, I don't know why, but to continue to step out into the discomfort of doing things that don't necessarily fit into the status quo. I don't necessarily feel comfortable or even definitely not linear. And to continue doing that, to get to this place where I have released so many of the unhealthy patterns from the past, purifying so much more and more positivity, all of the time and energy and money that I've dedicated to this, often results coming months or years after, or maybe not even seeming like results, and continuing, not giving up in the face of the fear and the confusion. Much gratitude to myself, for sure. Much love. And finally, to you, my friend, whomever you are, whether I know you personally or I don't, whether we ever meet or we don't, much love and appreciation to you, because you are in some way doing this for yourself. You're taking the time, you're investing the energy or the money or the effort, even if you're just, deleting the news app or stepping away from Netflix and having a 5-minute meditation on Headspace or whatever it is, even if you're just thinking about it. I appreciate it, because together we create the reality that we live in, and slowly these things change. It's definitely very possible. It's a lot more than me or any one person can do. We all come together and create this. So I think that's about it. I think that's good. I'm sure there's so many more things that I could say, and many things that I've forgotten, many things that I have misspoke on or could elucidate more on, but I'm going to call it for now. And until then, much love, appreciation, namaste. I love you. Peace.